right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Man, it is a blessing to be here today. Right. We are live on Instagram and we're still talking about Think and Grow Rich, and the topic today is around the brain. Right? Robert Kiyosaki, he says that the greatest asset that you will ever have is the one between your own two ears. So, I'm super grateful. What's up, Lady Boss Nikki? I'm super grateful to be talking about this, and I want you to know, right, I'm no expert on the brain. Probably the most I know is from this book by Dr. Amen, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. But guess what? I'm here live, and we're going to have a conversation about it today, right? So, like I was talking about, right, we got to realize that the best asset, the greatest asset that you will ever have is the one in between your own two ears, right? I'm no financial advisor, but if I were to advise you to invest in one thing, right, the number one thing that you can invest in is your brain and yourself, right? That is, like, I'm telling you, from every time that I have invested in upgrading my brain or learning something new, right, it has paid off in some way, shape, or form. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Right. And I understand that a lot of people, might be, let's face it, the brain's a big topic, and it is definitely gets into some deep water. So I'm going to keep it, in terms of what I can talk about. Right. So one thing I wanted to touch on, right, I notice a lot of people are a little bit worried about AI and it taking over. And I want to let you know right now, right? AI has absolutely nothing on your brain if you actually think. Now, there are some people out there that may not be using their brains and maybe not thinking. Now, that's another issue, right? AI may actually wipe them out. But if you, right, we got to realize we have God's greatest creation in between our ears right here. If you know how to use this thing, man, you can literally, like I said, create the world that you truly want to live in. And so it's really important. Now, I want to talk, bringing it back to Think and Grow Rich, right? Napoleon Hill describes the brain a lot like a radio tower. So think of it like this, right? If there's two radio towers, right? There's one radio tower that's able to send a signal, and one radio tower is receiving the signal. And that's kind of the metaphor for how your brain operates, right? You can actually send out thoughts. And I think Napoleon Hill says it here, right? There's actually two main ideas in this chapter, and we already talked about them, right? But it comes back. So you can send out thoughts through your subconscious mind, right? The subconscious mind is the sending station of the brain through which thought impulses are broadcast. And then if we're talking about how you actually receive thoughts, right? It is the creative imagination is actually how you can receive thoughts from others. And even more so, right, this is a bold statement that I'm about to make, but you can receive thoughts from infinite intelligence through your creative imagination, according to Napoleon Hill. Right, so it's really important to understand the two, because you got to realize that it's called Think and Grow Rich for a reason, and your brain, right, this is the core of how you actually think. So I think it's also very important to talk about actually upgrading your brain. Right. And, I'm not selling anything, but I will say this, right? The number one way that I have personally learned to upgrade my brain, and Lady Boss Nikki, I think you would agree with this, is to drink a ton of water every day. Right. We got to address the fact that, we are 70% made of H2O. And if you think that not drinking water won't have an impact on how you actually think, right, that is incorrect, right? I'm telling you, like, try this out for yourself. If you drink a ton of more water throughout the day, like at least even a gallon a day, right, you will think better, you will feel better. And honestly, I'm going to make a bold claim. I have no science to back this up, but if you look at yourself in the mirror after you drink more water, like if you drink more water today than you did yesterday, I guarantee your body will be in more shape or be more fit than it was yesterday, right? I'm telling you, just try this and prove me wrong. You will actually be in better shape just by drinking more water, simply because, let's face it, we're 70% water. So that's really important. That's the number one tip when it comes to upgrading your brain. And then another thing I heard, right? I'm not sure the true details of this, but I heard it from my mentor. He says that 85% of doctor visits are just because of dehydration, right? So think about it, right? Imagine if you never wanted to get sick again just by simply drinking a ton of water and, let's say, exercising, right? I'm no doctor, but that was a bold claim, but like I'm telling you, it comes down to the simple fact: just drinking more water will absolutely help you upgrade your brain, and that is super important. All right, number 2. This is something that I was recommended, and I take these every day, right? They're omega-3 gummies. I don't know any of the science behind them. I really like it, and I like how it makes me think. So, so yeah, that's the idea there. And Nikki, you're absolutely right. Alkaline water, that's something I haven't tried yet, but it is definitely on my list of things to get because, the quality of your water might dictate the quality of your life. All right? So that's the brain, right? This is a deep conversation. I'm gonna, let's see if anything else comes to mind while we're talking about it here. But yeah, that was basically what I wanted to cover, right? How important it is to invest in your brain, right? Because, at the end of the day, right, you're gonna have this for the rest of your life, and you might as well treat it with respect. And it may not make sense right now, but I'm telling you, anytime that you invest back into yourself, right, it pays off in dividends, whether it's peace of mind, feeling better, maybe you can figure out something to help you get to the next financial step, but it always comes back in abundance when you invest in yourself. And I think that's by far the number one asset that you can create, that you have literally today, is God's greatest gift, and that is our brains. And so I want to thank you all for watching. One thing I would say to take away from this live is just, drink more water today. Focus on getting at least maybe a gallon down, and just see the difference for yourself, because I'm telling you, it will make a difference, and you can politely prove me wrong if you want to. But at the end of the day, if you're drinking more water, that's great. So that's the conversation today on the brain. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow, I'm going to be diving into the sixth sense. I'm going to be diving into the deep waters. And so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you all for watching.